Hello children, last class we saw microbes in production of biogas, and today we are going to see microbes as biocontrol agents and how microorganisms are useful in the field of agriculture to control the pest. We are going to see the biological ways of controlling pest. So this in microbes as biocontrol agent, use of this biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pest. Usually these problems are solved by the use of chemicals, that is insecticides and pesticides, and these chemicals are toxic and they are harmful to human, animals, and pollute our environment, and through the soil, fruits, vegetable they pollute, and even the crop plants. So, what are the biological ways of controlling the pest and the plant diseases? See, the biological way of controlling the pest in agriculture is it depends upon the natural predation rather than chemicals. So that is the important thing you have to make a note. It depends upon biological ways or biological control of pests and diseases depends upon the natural predation. Okay, they will not rely upon the chemicals. So the organic farmer, who's organic farmer? One who uses see, this is our topic, and this beetle is also used as a biocontrol agent. We'll see that all these things, techniques for application of biocontrol agents, all these to control the pest. That is what we are seeing in the page, how these agents are useful for controlling the pest. Okay, and who's organic farmer? One uses manure, all the biological ways for controlling the pest and other things, using of organic manure in his field to improve the soil texture. Is only the organic farmer. See, the organic farmer, therefore, he works to create a system where the insects that are called the pest are not completely eradicated, but instead they are kept at manageable levels, at control levels. We are not supposed to, though they are pest, we cannot eradicate them completely. This is for balancing the ecosystem, ecological balance. Otherwise, if we completely eradicate the pest, those who depend upon these beneficial predatory and parasitic insects, they will not be able to survive. So, to maintain the ecological balance, instead of completely eradicating the pest, it should be kept at a manageable levels. This is what the aim of an organic farmer. Okay, see, in this this approach actually it's more useful than the conventional farming practices, that is nothing but using chemicals which kills both useful and harmful life forms. Okay, so the organic farmer thinks that instead of eradicating completely the pest, he just keep it at a control level, because some beneficial predatory and parasitic insects which depend upon them as food or host would not be able to survive if it is completely eradicated. So that is the main approach in this biological control of biological way of controlling the pest. So biological farming, it becomes familiar with the various life forms that inhabit the field. Okay, and the predation and the pest, its life cycle, pattern of feeding, habitat, everything we come to know, and this will help to develop appropriate means of biocontrol. That is what we are going to see, how some of the insects play a significant role in controlling the pest that will damage the crop plants. Okay, first we'll see about this one. I'll show some pictures. This is what the ladybird. It is used as a biocontrol agent. Very good, very efficient for controlling the pest. And one more thing, this also dragonflies, they are also used for controlling what pest Okay, these mosquitoes, it's a pest which will just completely destroy the plants, and aphids, this will completely suck, it will suck the juice, it will damage the sap. Okay, and for controlling these two things, that ladybird and dragonflies are used. These are the biological ways. Okay, you can see the picture of this. Uh, that is this ladybird and aphids. Ladybird and the dragonflies are useful to get rid of aphids, as I show the picture, and mosquitoes. See, these aphids are small bugs actually. They are small bugs which they completely, I already said, they completely feed by sucking sap from plants, the juice. Okay, the essential juice from the plants, that is infecting the xylem and phloem tissues. They will be a green fly or a black fly, small flies, small bugs actually. Okay, so they completely destroy the plants. Okay, so they are actually controlled by just this ladybird and dragonflies. And another biocontrol agent that is introduced in the field to control butterfly caterpillar, which has become a very vast pest, is introducing bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, Bacillus thuringiensis. I'll show the. This is what BT. They say BT is also for controlling the pest, Bacillus thuringiensis, for some of the pest. Okay, you can see the spores. Okay, what happens here? I'll tell you. Okay, Bacillus thuringiensis. Here, they are available in sachets. They are available in sachets. The dry spores of this is a bacteria. Dry spores of this bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis, are available in sachets, and they are mixed with water, diluted and sprayed into vulnerable, which are easily affected plants or likely to be affected plants, such as brassicas and fruit trees. Brassicas, all these they actually include cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. All these things are included under brassicas. When they are taken by the insect larvae, this actually, when they are taken by the insect larvae, in the gut of the larvae, the toxin is released. See, they will be the insect larvae will be taking, along with the leaves, they will be taking the dry spores also, which will be sprinkled on the leaves or any part of the plant. So in the gut of the larvae, that is intestine, alimentary canal, the toxin is released and the larva get killed. So this is by using Bacillus thuringiensis. So the bacteria disease will kill the caterpillar. So this bacteria will kill the caterpillar and will protect the plant. So this is one kind of controlling the insects pest. And another biological control developed in the treatment of plant disease is fungus trichoderma. We'll see the picture now. This is what the fungus trichoderma. This is what the fungus trichoderma. See here, what about these species are free living fungi. Okay, they are very common in the root ecosystem and they are very effective biocontrol agents of several plant pathogens. Okay, so they give protection for the plant by destroying the pathogens. And the next one is Bacula viruses. Bacula viruses will see the picture. This is what Bacula viruses. See, they are DNA viruses infecting invertebrate animals. Actually, they are used as a biocontrol agent. They are DNA viruses infecting invertebrate animals. See, actually, they have so many benefits. They are used as biocontrol agents, and they belong to the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. And these viruses have so many benefits. They are used as a biocontrol agent. They have so many benefits. That is, they are species specific. They are particular for a particular species. they will aim only a particular species, narrow spectrum insecticidal application only for a particular pest. They are very effective. Okay, they will never show or no negative impacts on our target insects. So they play a significant role in integrated pest management. So this is very important, used as a biocontrol agent. Then we'll see microbes as biofertilizers. Okay, as biofertilizers. First of all, I'll show some of the pictures. Biofertilizers, when I say all these cyanobacteria, they all can be used as a biofertilizer, which will fix atmospheric nitrogen. All these are cyanobacteria. This is what cyanobacteria. We'll see about this biofertilizers. See, the main sources of biofertilizers or bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria, I already said they are nothing but blue-green algae. So already we know about the nodules of the roots of leguminous plants formed by the symbiotic association of rhizobium is a bacteria, and these bacteria they fix atmospheric nitrogen into organic forms, which is used by the plant as a nutrient. So symbiotic association between the nodules of leguminous plants and this bacteria rhizobium. So plants cannot take directly nitrogen from the atmosphere, so it will be converted into organic forms by the bacteria, which will be utilized by the plant. And some of the free living bacteria are also there in the soil, which will fix atmospheric nitrogen like Azospirillum and Acetobacter, etc. And one more association, that is the fungal association, symbiotic association with the plant roots of the higher plants, mycorrhizae. That is a fungal. It is a symbiotic association between the fungus and the roots of the higher plants, mycorrhizae. Like lichens, it is an association between the fungal and algae. Like this, the mycorrhiza, it is an association between the fungus and the roots of higher plants. We'll see the picture now of this mycorrhizae. See, this is what the roots, this fungus, the roots of the higher plants. So many benefits. This is what mycorrhizae and the roots. Symbiotic association or relationship between the two. See, this actually the fungus, it'll be just symbiotic association living in the roots of the plants. It absorbs phosphorus from the soil and then passes it to the plant, which the plant use it as a nutrient and just give it to the plant body. From the roots it will go to the other parts. Not only this, what are the other benefits it gets is it resistant to root-borne pathogens. The plant becomes resistant to root-borne pathogens. Whichever plant has got a symbiotic association to these fungus becomes resistant, and tolerance to salinity and drought, an increase in plant growth and development. These are all the benefits. And what is in turn the fungal gets, whatever the plant produces, the carbohydrates or the sugars, that the fungus takes as a source of food. Whatever the plant produces by photosynthesis, sugars, that is carbohydrates, the fungus will be taking it as a food. Okay, then I said about cyanobacteria, that is nothing but the blue-green algae. Already I said about the rhizobium and other free living bacteria. This is about cyanobacteria, which is nothing but the blue-green algae. The same, which can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Example, Anabaena, nostoc, oscillatoria. In paddy fields, they play a significant role, and they are widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environments. Okay, see these cyanobacteria in the paddy field, they play a significant role in increasing the fertility, okay, soil fertility. Okay, so this cyanobacteria there's a blue-green algae. These are the example, and those two are different. They are free-living bacteria, rhizobium, symbiotic association. Others are Azospirillum, which can fix the atmospheric nitrogen to the soil. These cyanobacteria are widely distributed in aquatic and terrestrial environments, which can fix the atmospheric nitrogen and enrich the field with a lot of nutrients. So these are the benefits of the microorganisms and which serve as a, so these microorganisms can serve as a biofertilizers. Okay, that's the end of the lesson, and we'll move on to the next chapter. Okay children, thank you, have a good day.